everyone, this is Julie Bean with Beadaholic, and we're going to make a Christmas ornament today. So what we're using as our focal are these really pretty lockets that we carry at Beadaholic. So we have a bunch of different styles. This is just a couple of them. So this one I already finished. So I just tied it with a silk ribbon. So we have a bunch of different colors on the website at beadaholic.com that you can choose from. But this is a super simple way of doing it. So basically you just take a locket, put a picture in it, and then tie it with a ribbon. And this is a beautiful keepsake ornament then. My family has handmade ornaments. We always make them each and every year. So I am very happy to have made this one because this is gonna go on my Christmas tree. But I wanna talk you through how to make it. So the base, like I said, is a locket. And here I have a different shape one. This is a little 1.5 by 1.5 inch square. It's got this great little hinge right here. So if we just undo that hinge, it opens up. And so that is pretty darn nifty right there. And it's nice and a slim profile. So it's perfect for putting a photo in there. I'm going to talk you through how to do that in just a minute. I did want to show you this other locket style. You could put a photo in this one as well. It's got that dome to it. I put a little pressed flower though, if you can see that. So I just did something really simple. Okay, for an ornament though, you are going to need your locket base. You are going to need either some silk ribbon, but I want to show you an alternative in this video. I'm going to be making a stretch cord hanger. So if you love stretch bracelets and you love making them, this is basically the same exact technique, but we're going to use it for a hanger to go on our tree. For the stretch cord, we have a little twisted wire needle, which is going to help string our beads. You just have one strand of beads. You can have a bunch of different beads. If you've got some bead soup left over from other projects, that's a great use for it. I thought this was kind of pretty and sparkly to go on the Christmas tree, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. You'll need a pair of scissors for both cutting your cord and cutting your image, and then optional, a glue stick for gluing in your image. So that's all you are going to need, and then you're going to need your photograph, of course. So let me talk you through a little bit about the photograph real quick. Okay, so here you can see I already cut out the one for this shape, and I have another one of my boys here. So obviously in this video, we're a jewelry making video. I'm not an expert on photos, but I'm going to share a few tips on what I did to make it the right size and to be able to print it. So I took a photo that I had. Now, ideally this would be on photo paper. I didn't have any, so I just did it on my regular printer paper. It actually turned out okay. It's thin, which I don't love, but you know what? If you've got photo paper and you want to put it in your printer, go for it. So for sizing, what I did was I took the measurements of my locket. Now it is a little easier if you have a square locket. So this is 1.5 by 1.5 inches. So I scaled my photo in a photo editing software to be 1.5 by 1.5. So if we look at this, it's the right size to go in that locket. Now I probably will cut it down a little bit because it's going to be a little bit smaller because of this surround right here. But I did measure it to the 1.5 by 1.5. So you would pick your locket out on the website. The website will list the measurements of the locket. And so you're going to then scale and size your photo to be that size. Now, when it comes time to print, it will often try to print a little bit of a different size because it will say like under scale. Mine said 97% to begin with. For some reason it was a preset on my printer, or it'll say fit to page or something like that, or borders or no borders. For me, for my printer, I clicked scale 100%. By clicking scale 100%, it kept the 1.5 by 1.5 measurement for me and it didn't alter that. So that's what worked for me. I know all programs are a little bit different, but hopefully that helps you in some way if you're not familiar with printing photos on a smaller size. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, what you're going to do is you're going to cut out your photo. So here we go, my little kiddos. And so I'm just gonna cut along the edge right here. Like I said, photo paper would be better. This does work. And it actually was, like I said, a lot clearer than I expected it to be. Okay, so I've got my photo cut out. Now I'm gonna see how it looks in the frame itself and if I need to cut it down at all. That's actually almost perfect. So the 1.5 by 1.5 in this case does appear to be almost the interior measurements of that locket because that fits pretty perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if it will hold when I close the locket or if I need to add a little bit of glue. So here I go. Gonna lock that locket in place and shake it. That photo is actually not coming out. So I really don't feel like I need to add any glue to this. If you do, I would recommend a glue stick. A couple reasons why. It's really thin. It's not going to create like a bubble under your photo, especially if you're just using regular printer paper. And it dries pretty quickly and it's not like a big goopy mess. So I like glue sticks. So I just grabbed this out of my kids' craft section at the house here. So that is what I would do for the photo itself. And now we're gonna make some way of hanging it from the tree. And I thought, well, what can we do? I was playing around with my supplies. I love the ribbon. The ribbon's really pretty, but I wanted a little different hanger as well. It looks like I did not latch this. Let me see. Just make sure. There we go. So that had to be pushed down a little further to latch properly. So we're gonna do a stretch cord hanger. So that's gonna be really fun. So let's go ahead and make that hanger now. Okay, if you are familiar with stretch cord, we're going to just do this the same way we'd make a bracelet pretty much. Let's first test our beads if they will go through this loop. Okay, they will. So basically we can use the exact same technique as making a bracelet. Now, if you have something that maybe has a smaller hoop, just double check that your beads will go through it. We're fine here as well. So that will be the only caveat is if your beads don't go through it, you will string half here, put your cord through, string the other half, and then tie your knot. So let's cut off some here. And you could use a bead stopper. If you have a bead stopper, you can use also a little piece of tape, something to secure your end so your beads do not fall off. I should have had that. I did not grab that when I was setting up this video, but those are a couple of handy tools. The tool I do love is the twisted wire needle. You see that nice big eye right there. That's amazing. Put it through it, and now we're gonna be able to string stretch cord just like it was a regular stringing material. So I'm going to cut these beads off the strand. They're really pretty and sparkly. These are a 4mm bead. And if you go to the description of this video, you will see a link to this project, which will bring you to the Beadaholic website. And what it will show you is the stretch cord, the beads, the locket, all that good stuff. So we're just going to string on. You see how I just put that on the needle, pulled it down, and I'm gonna keep it a little bit away from the end because I didn't put a stopper on there of any sort. But we're just gonna do bead by bead until we've strung our whole hanger. I wanna say stretch bracelet, but it's not, it's gonna be our hanger. So I'm gonna do this off camera just to save a little bit of time because it's the same exact technique. And then when I'm ready to tie it, I'll come on back and show you how to tie it and secure it to your locket. Okay, I've made progress. I actually went ahead and I strung the entire strand because I was thinking, well, sometimes the tree branches are kind of thick and a little bit bigger to get around. So I was like, well, why not? Okay, so we've got that strung. Let's go ahead and take off our needle. So you're going to hold it on one end so the beads don't come off. You're just going to slip it through that loop. Pull it. Now it will kind of stay down in one little section, but you see how it kind of was just a little between two beads is where it rests, which I think is totally fine. And it does have movement, so you can always adjust that. Now you're just gonna tie a knot. So we're gonna go ahead and let's make sure we got both of these. Okay, so there's no gaps in our beads. We are just going to tie a knot. So we see we've got that knot right there. And now I'm gonna go through it one time. second time because you want that knot to be really secure. Okay, pull. And then what I like to do is I like to pull it from all directions. I give it a good tug in there. And then I'm going to tie another knot on top of this because this is a little bit heavier. Usually with stretch cord bracelets, you don't have an object like this hanging from its base. And also because this is just going on a tree, I'm not too concerned if I see my knot versus if it was on a wrist. So I went through it once. I'm going to go through that loop again, pull it down. And let's even do one more. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about this knot because this is my Christmas hanger and not a bracelet. Not a bracelet, and we're knotting. Okay, so we've got lots of good knots right there. They are good to go. They are not going to come out. I can keep tugging that. Now, if you're familiar with making stretch cord bracelets, you know there's usually a couple more steps here. We usually take the needle, put it back on our end, run the stretch cord back through a couple adjacent beads on each side. Sometimes we put a little dab of glue up there. You can do all that if you want. I'm not going to. I find this is going to be fine. I knotted that a bunch of times. This is going to be really cute hanging from my tree. So I'm just going to cut my ends. And in this case, I'm not going to cut them super close. I'm going to give myself just a little bit, just a couple millimeters, but just a little bit of wiggle room right there. Again, because it's not going on my wrist, I'm not really concerned. Okay, we did it. Here is my new Christmas tree ornament from my family. So here we go. This is what it looks like. We got that nice sparkly hanger. It's gonna hang nicely from the Christmas tree. And that's using these really pretty lockets. So you can do silk ribbon. You could do, a traditional Christmas tree hook as well. So you could make the photo locket kind of like what I just showed you in the beginning, and then use a Christmas tree hanger hook, a Christmas ornament hook. That would work as well. And then if you want to do something a little bit upgraded, you could do ribbon or you could do some sparkly beads. Really, whatever you like and matches your design aesthetic will totally work. But these lockets are great for this. Really quick, easy heirloom treasures that you can make using these lockets. So everything you see here and a lot of other project inspiration is available over at beadaholique.com. Thanks, everyone.